Do you know the proper names of the parts of the canoe and paddle? You'll want to stick around. Let's go over parts of the boat. Of course, you've got the stern and the bow, but how would you know the difference between the stern, which is the back, and the bow, which is the front? Well, with most canoes that you've got a seat in them, you can look at the seat and notice that in the back seat, in the stern area, there's no room to put your feet or to kneel down. Whereas if we go to the front, you see we've got plenty of kneeling room. So this is obviously the bow of the boat, the stern. Boat parts are pretty basic. We call the side, the bottom's the bottom. This part along the top is called the gunnels. These are the gunnels, and these bars are called thwarts. They add strength and stability to your boat. Along the bottom, you can see the ribs. We've got this leaned up against the other boat so that you can see the bottom, you can see the ribs and the keel. We'll turn this boat over in just a second so that you can see the keel, but it's just a little piece of metal that runs the length of the boat, and that helps us in going straight. So this is more of a lake type of a boat, and our other canoe is more of a river canoe because it doesn't have a keel and it'll slide through the waves. That's pretty nice. Now as you look on this boat, we've got a little blue area that's painted, and that's about how far the boat will sit down in the water. That's called the draft. How much draft does a boat have? So we can see this boat may have a couple of inches of draft. And from the draft or the water line up to the top of the gunnels, this is the freeboard. So just a few technical terms. We're not going to get into some of the other things, but basically those are the parts of the boat that you'll need to know when you're talking about canoeing. Now you can see that we've got our canoe turned over, bottom side up, and you can see the keel that runs the length of the boat. This adds a lot of strength to the boat, but if you were to take this keel and chop it up in sections and stack those sections up, you'd have basically a dagger board on a sailboat that would keep it from going sideways. And that's the same thing that this does. This is a great lake boat, helps us to go straight and true. Now we're going to talk about parts of the paddle. This is the grip. This happens to be a T grip. There are pear grips and a variety of different grips, but I really like the T grip because it gives me great control. This is the shaft. Where the shaft meets the blade is the throat, and the blade, and then the tip. You'll notice, if you can see my foot, you notice that I keep the tip of the blade on my foot. I don't want to get that into the rocks or the gravel, and of course we've got grass here, but it's just a good idea to always keep the tip either on your foot or keep the grip down. Having the right size of paddle is important to you, depending on your skill level and where you're comfortable. You know, I like a little bit longer paddle than this, but generally speaking, if you put the grip of the paddle on your toe and you've got a blade that's between your chin and your forehead, you're generally pretty close. If you're on the ground, if you were to kneel down as if you were in a canoe and you put the paddle down, if the throat is about chin high, that's the right paddle size for you. So that's a quick and easy way to select the right size paddle for your abilities.